You know, I'm thankful to be here at this particular building. I asked, what is Talento Bilingüe, right? Kind of community center and what it does. I grew up in San Antonio, on San Antonio's west side, and my grandfather had the Botica Guadalupana. It was an old-timey drugstore. Besides having, you know, the doctor and the pharmacy, we also carried over 100 hierbas medicinales, those herbal medicines that were used quite frequently in the Mexican-American family and the culture for cave healing and for all sorts of stuff. And across the street from there was Teatro Nacional. And then around the corner was a Teatro Alameda. And as a young girl, I always used to go there with my grandparents to see the variedad. And that was like a variety show where artists would come. And it was a huge part of the community because the arts express what is relevant in our lives. And the one thing that was very, very integral to the success in San Antonio, places like that, is that they always had student groups. They always had like community theater. Just like in San Antonio now where I work at Davila Pharmacy part-time, because they did tell you, right, I'm a pharmacist. And did you know I went to UH? No. Okay, it's public knowledge, but I'll let you know I was a cougar donkey. Yeah. Okay, that was before the 6 kids, you can see. Right? But it was a place where the arts were always important, but education was important. And they had these theater groups and musical groups and students, because the students kept everybody on their toes. They always pushed it. They always were challenging, even the professionals, to get better, to be funnier if it was a comic act, to act better if it was a play, to sing better, to compose better, because it was the youth that was challenging not just the status quo, but bringing in a new perspective. And that's why maybe today, as I look at this building and coming in to talk to you, that it kind of comes full circle. Now, I gotta tell you that if I know one thing, it's that education should be the most important thing that we all talk about, right? I am so proud to be here because, you know, you are the best at what we think is our future. But when Sylvia and I went to school, and when certainly Pete did, and anybody here that went to school with a slide rule, Judge, I was going to say Judge, maybe. Let's see who else I would slide rule. Oh, Rita, Lucida, your candidate for Senate over here in one of our districts. Dr. Brown, I think you're a little bit younger than we are. Yeah. But anybody who went to school with a slide rule will tell you that we had that opportunity because universities and colleges were pretty affordable. You could work part-time and pay your tuition. Now, even if you work part-time, there is no way you could even pay for Harvard Community College. The price of textbooks, the price of, well, they call them textbooks, even whatever your online learning is, it is really a shame that so many of our students are graduating thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. And that needs to change. And you might figure out, well, why is that? Well, part of it is when the legislature made the very bad decision to deregulate tuition. Before that, your legislators set what you were going to pay for credit hour. And guess who held us accountable? The voters. So because we didn't want to set the tuition high, what did the legislature do? It put in money into higher education. In 2003, we were facing a budget shortfall. So the decision was made to, let the regents decide. Let the regents decide. And they told us, Sylvia, at the time, we're only going to go up 5%. Oh, we're only going to go up 3%. We're only going to go up. And you know how much tuition has been raised since 2003? Well, 2004, because that's when It's probably over 58%. Over 50. Okay. That's what's at stake here. That's what's at stake in the election. And I know there's a lot going on in your lives. I know there's a lot going on with your families. You say, well, I don't have time. I mean, I don't know. So how do you know? Well, you have the marvels of technology. I see you're checking your emails, your Twitter. Oh, you're taking pictures. Twitter it, baby. Twitter. Twitter. I mean, you are too busy. You are so focused on what you need to be focused on is success post-high school. Success post-high school, whether that is going into technical school, whether that is upping your game and skill set, whether it's military, community college, university, it is about doing that. Because I can tell you, when I graduated in 1973, and it is public record, people in my class could get a great job with a high school diploma. And they could live a life of dignity, you know, in a fairly nice neighborhood, 2 cars, and work at one place all their life. Those jobs are gone. You can't live a life of dignity on just a high school. You gotta have some sort of training, and you know it. And I bet you every one of your parents, or your aunts or your grandparents that raised you, whoever raised you, right? And I know that when I meet with parents now, no one has ever said, oh, the dream for my daughter, I have a dream for my son, I want them to make minimum wage their whole life. That doesn't happen, right? No. What do they want for you? They want college. It's the same thing my parents wanted for me. It's the same thing Pete and I wanted for our children. We wanted them to live that life of opportunity. And we knew the key to that was education. 10 years ago, your legislature, your business community, and the higher ed community were all on the same page. All on the same page. It was how do we get more Tier 1 universities? And man, U of H was in the hunt. How do we get more? And mine, UTSA, UT Dallas, UTA, UTEP, UPenn, all of us. How do we strike? And you know why? Because we looked at other states and thought, how are they economically successful? And the key was bolster those institutions of learning to those Tier 1. Bolster them. Why? Because that's creativity. That's the technology. That's the spin-off. They're economic engines. Well, guess what? I think the business community still has it, but your leadership has lost it. If you've even paid attention about what's happening about higher ed, they're not supporting it. In fact, it's pretty sad what some of the chaos and confusion is happening, even within Governor Perry's appointees. It's sad. What happened to trying to chase the top of the leaderboard like you do, right? What is it when we set our expectations high? Because we're Texans. We're supposed to be really good at stuff, right? We're supposed to do the best of work even in the toughest of times. That's us. And yet, that's not what's happening. But that's what the argument is on higher ed. Not how can we excel? How can we make it more affordable? How can we get more students in the pipeline? What can we do to make you more successful? That's not what these guys are saying. And so I know that if you get engaged, if you convince others in your age group, we can win this. And it feels good winning, right? When the team wins, it feels good. But in politics, it's not just about being good. It's what you do when you win, how you can change policy, how you can help students, how you can help families. Your generation is defined very different. And you know that an economist will tell you you're not going to spend your whole life with one employer because you're going to keep on learning. The rate at which we discover a new technology will require all of us to up our game, to continue our skill set. So it's lifelong learning. I mean, if you would have told me even, 10 years ago, that I'd be tweeting all the time. That was just a sound of a bird. And 4G was a parking space. Think about it and what has happened. And so, I need you. And what's at stake, what's on the line is way too serious. There's a clear choice in how you move forward and how you participate. And what you decide. And it's not just about you. It's about the greater good. The power that you have within, that urge to live a life of significance, that understanding that you have the potential to get others to move in a direction that's going to better the lives of a lot of people in this community. Because too much is at stake. So the real question is, kind of what Martin Luther King said, right? Most persistent question in society is, what are you doing in service to others? This generation gets it. It's about the community. It's about that life of significance. But know that I understand you, and I understand what's stake in this future. So help me. Help me be the next Lieutenant Governor so that we can have the better opportunities for your brothers and sisters, for your children, and one day, your 6 nearly perfect grandchildren, which is